That what now is the importance of critical thinking? Critical thinking is a domain general thinking skill. The ability to think clearly and rationally is important, whatever we choose to do. If you work in education, research, finance, management, or the legal profession, then critical thinking is obviously important. But critical thinking skills are not restricted to a particular subject area. Being able to think well and solve problems systematically is an asset for any career. Now, critical thinking is very important in the new knowledge economy as a second major point. For us to grow the economy, what we need is critical thinking. And we noted something. Where there is critical thinking, there is also brainstorming. Brainstorming is also to, you see, we talked about problem solving. We accept there are economic challenges, and that is good starting point. To accept, to recognize the challenge. And after that, of course, critical thinking becomes a very important in the new knowledge economy. For the global knowledge economy is driven by information and technology. One has to be able to deal with the changes quickly and effectively. The new economy places increasing demands on flexible intellectual skills and the ability to analyze information and integrate diverse sources of knowledge in solving problems. Good critical thinking promotes such thinking skills and is very important in the fast changing workplace. The third point, critical thinking enhances language and presentation skills. Now, thinking clearly and systematically can improve the way we express our ideas. In learning how to analyze the logical structure of texts, critical thinking also improves comprehension abilities. Okay, if it enhances language and presentation, because you cannot, if you present poorly, we in critical thinking will ask you. I know even when I'm talking, sometimes I'm more like not a stammerer, not that I'm a stammerer, but I also note that sometimes you use the long tense, grammatical error. You make a few grammatical errors here and there, and you note by the time you finish, you have already made an error. Of course, I'm moving on. But I know if you are a critical thinker, you could critique some errors I'm making. And that in itself helps to improve my work. Even when I'm listening to these videos that we have shot as we are teaching, I'm able to tell that I'm able to collect through and making a better presentation, although teaching is very different from just making a paper, because you also expect people to ask questions and you can't move very fast. You need to move slowly and work with everybody. Otherwise, you may be running alone without the other people you are targeting. Teaching can be different from paper presentation and just speaking. Now, thinking clearly and systematically can improve the way we express our ideas. That's what we have noted, because we shall be critiqued. People will pose questions and want to know why is this or that other thing not happening. Now, in learning how to analyze the logical structure of text, critical thinking also improves that comprehension abilities. So on and on, we find ourselves becoming experts, from novice to experts, okay? Yeah, from an amateur to a professional. That is how critical and creative thinking will make us. By the end of the lesson, we will not be amateurs but professionals. Okay? Yeah, we will not be novices but experts. That is the reality, because it improves our thinking skills, our creative skills. If whatever we do in life will be better, whatever level will be better. The fourth point now, I think, critical thinking promotes creativity. To come up with a creative solution to a problem involves not just having new ideas. It must also be the case that the new ideas being generated are useful and relevant to the task at hand. Critical thinking plays a crucial role in evaluating new ideas, selecting the best ones, and in modifying them where necessary. The other point, critical thinking is crucial for self-reflection. In order to live a meaningful life and to structure our lives accordingly, we need to justify and reflect on our values and decisions. For critical thinking provides the tools for this process of self-evaluation. The last point, good critical thinking is the foundation of science and a liberal democratic society. Now, to expound on this, science requires the critical use of reason in experimentation and theory confirmation. The proper functioning of a liberal democratic society requires citizens who can think critically about social issues to inform their judgments about proper governance and to overcome biases and prejudice. So that is it. Now, the other question is significance of creative and critical thinking in higher education and in everyday life. What is it in university? Why study this subject? Why study critical thinking and even creative thinking? First, instructors come to recognize that teaching in a critical manner is essential for skilled reading, skilled listening, skilled decision making, skilled analysis, skilled evaluation, intelligent choices in human relationship, skilled civic and personal choices. So uh, when we are instructors, we recognize that teaching in a critical manner is essential. We would discover that if we are skilled in all we do, even in business, skilled in even presenting our presentations, we improve our route. Second, critical thinking is not an isolated goal unrelated to other important goals in education. Rather, critical thinking is a seminal goal which, when done well, simultaneously facilitates a rainbow of other ends. It is best conceived, therefore, as the hub around which all other educational ends cluster. For example, as students learn to think more critically, they become more proficient at historical, scientific, and mathematical thinking. Third, critical thinking is what leads to new inventions. Creative thinking leads to not just new inventions, but also new everything. Even when you talk about competency-based curriculum, without creative thinking, nothing will come out of it. Nothing good can come out of it. Outside creativity, creative thinking, it will not. All new objects, all new writings, all new ideas come from creative thinking. Yes, even good dresses. If you are in business, you are tailor, you are dressmaker. If you are not creative, my friend, you will not be competitive in business. And to be creative is not for some people, it is for everyone. And you cultivate the culture of creativity so that it builds and grows into a huge, gigantic tree of creativity. And it starts mdogo mdogo, always thinking creatively, and with time you find yourself a seasoned creative thinker. You are not even struggling talking when delivering a speech, when starting a new business, in your line, in your academic work. Creativity makes work easier and life becomes easier. And that is the way it is. In turn, critical thinking is the ability to evaluate the work of others. So when you are a critical thinker, you are evaluating the work because you are asking questions when, how, what. It is the highest stage in Bloom's taxonomy of cognitive skills. If you can't evaluate the work of others, you won't know how good ideas are or be able to compare your own works to theirs. In turn, Bloom's taxonomy was created in 1956 under the leadership of educational psychologist Dr. Benjamin Bloom in order to promote higher forms of thinking in education, such as analyzing, evaluating, discussing, assessing, rather than just remembering facts. Okay? And you see, some of these forms of education, they have issues because our people are very good at cramming, but in life they fail. Somebody will tell you I have an A and got a grade A in high school, in A in university, but the man fails in the job because he is not trained to be critical and creative. Whoever taught him just told him if you get an A, you go get employed, you are done. This person was not told you can create your own job. You don't have to be employed all the time. For some time, yes, but not all the time. Abraham Lincoln used to say, you can fool people some of the time, but not all of the time, but some of the time. Not forever. You cannot fool people forever, but some of the time you can, but not all of the time you can't. So the question is, if this person taught you just how to remember, to memorize Greek and Hebrew, my friend, to memorize Latin language, to memorize vocabularies in English, Ngugi wa Thiong'o says the colonial system was bad. The 4422 system, though it is the one he went through, not 7423 system that some of us went through, or the 844 system, which is now giving way to 26333 system. Not at all. He says the problem with that system, it told us if you know English very well, you don't need anything. I know, Wana Karume, I know you are a man of A's in English. I know you. You may not know, I know. But and other people may not want to mention you, but at least I mention you many times. You are used to me mentioning your name. But you see, they told us, Google says, the system told us if you knew English very well, you get an A. Everything is okay. Or you don't need anything else. That's a measure of intelligence. And English language, the language of somebody, it is a way to be intelligent. Well, we are not trying to say it's not true, but what I'm saying is we must balance this. We need both the languages and we also need the facts. Similarly, we don't have to say when you cram certain jargons, even if you are doing science, call it chemistry, you master certain concept in physics. That does not mean you are creative and critical. You may still fail in life if you are not taught to create things or be critical. You still fail because you are not critical. The brain is not trained. You have not trained your mind to think critically. You can fail. And I'm not saying we are not. We are only saying we have to tell everyone that critical and creative thinking is the way to go in the 21st century. Without it, we are in trouble. We are in trouble. So we'll stop there today for this unit. It's past 4 minutes, and come to characteristics of creative thinking and other things that will take us to Pharisees next week. Thank you very much.